Good morning, SKN. I'm Jamie Morris.
And I'm Cortenzia Cartier.
How are you feeling this morning?
Okay. I
Okay.
survived the weekend, so okay. I had a migraine yesterday, but I made it through that, so okay.
Okay, good to know.
Yourself?
Good to know. I'm fine. I'm
Okay.
fine. Just looking forward to today, and hopefully you guys are as well. We move on to the latest in local news. This from Win Media. Climate change continues to be a growing issue for nations worldwide as the 2022 United Nations Climate Change Conference, COP27, is underway. Countries most impacted are those with negligible emissions that contribute to climate, which includes the Caribbean. The physical effects are most felt during the hurricane season from June 1st to November 30th, which brings more intense weather systems, heat waves, and drought. However, the effects of climate change on the Caribbean have grown above and beyond the physical aspect. The Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, ECCB, has taken an active role in creating climate-resilient initiatives in countries of the Eastern Caribbean Central Union, ECCU. Ms. Kieran St. Omer, project lead of the ECCB's Greening of the ECCU Financial System Initiative, shared how the bank is helping the region to confront the economic challenges of climate change. St. Omer said, quote, "One of the things that ECCB is preparing for is to improve investment or attract new investments in renewable energy investments so that we can ensure clean, affordable, and reliable energy for all citizens in all member states at all income levels," end quote.
Good stuff. Climate change continues to be an issue.
It is, and I'm glad that they're taking that approach. I was going to say proactive approach.
Yeah.
In some respects, it probably is, so I would say that, yes.
Great stuff. Honorarium approved for Solid Waste Management Corporation frontline workers. This from SKNIS. 50 workers at the Solid Waste Management Corporation were approved to receive an honorarium in the amount of 2,000 Eastern Caribbean dollars on Friday, 11th November 2022. Minister responsible for Solid Waste Management Corporation, the Honorable Dr. Joyle Clark, said she is thankful that the process has been completed, which now allows for 50 workers to be compensated for their invaluable services during the COVID-19 pandemic. During previous meetings with the staff of the corporation, Minister Dr. Joyle Clark assured the workers that their concerns related to their service during the pandemic were valid and would be addressed. The paid workers include litter wardens, drivers, and loaders whose jobs included collection and disposal of waste from residences and government-run facilities that house persons infected with COVID-19 or who were in quarantine. The Cabinet recently approved the payment of honorarium to qualifying persons deemed frontline workers. So that's the next silver lining.
Definitely. When you do the math, it's quite a bit of money, so nothing can compensate them, of course, for the risk, the work that they did during that time, but I'm sure this goes a long way to expressing gratitude. All right, moving on, from Win Media, Chair of the St. Kitts Nevis National Carnival Committee, Shannon Hawley, previously shared that the committee was working with the Planning Department and the Ministry of Sustainable Development to ensure vendors are back on the streets for Sugar Mass 51 during their first media briefing on October 6th. Now, according to Hawley, the street vendors will be back out in the heart of Bastille for 2 weeks, December 19th to January 3rd, during the carnival season. This was discussed with the vendors during a stakeholders meeting on November 9th and shared with the general public during an interview on Wynn's Island Tea with Azam Bailey. Shannon Hawley said on November 10th, quote, "We had a massive meeting last night with over 100 vendors who have registered to be back on the street for National Carnival, where last night we announced that in collaboration with the Ministry of Planning and much discussion, we are going to allow vendors back on the streets for a period of 2 weeks over the National Carnival period between December 19th and January 3rd, end quote. So we're getting back to a state of normalcy, and I imagine that the vendors are grateful for that opportunity as well, to be back out on the streets.
Exactly, and be back into the swing of things, as you said, like we're accustomed to. Now, for us to get back into the weather, it's partly cloudy with a high of 82 degrees and a low of 77 degrees Fahrenheit. It's currently 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Take a look at your hourly and weekly weather and stay tuned. Regional and international news after this.
What will it take to grab the attention of someone with the power to make your dream come true? 7 hopeful entrepreneurs in search of the finances necessary to take their ideas to the next level.
This is their lives, right? This is their business.
4 savvy business owners ready to make a pragmatic investment.
You can't help people if you can't help yourself. First you make the dollar and you give the dollar.
Why you take your business offline?
I really feel that you need to do a little bit more research.
Very knowledgeable. Super knowledgeable.
You have a great idea and a great concept. I think you'd be snapped up by Disney.
If you have a job someplace, it means that if something is not working, you can walk away.
Who will invest?
Let's do this. Let's do this.
Thank you. And who will be sent home with nothing? I am your host, Kevin Hope.
Yeah.
An exotic experience.
To Good Morning SKN, we now continue with the latest in regional news. This from Antigua Newsroom. Dominica's Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt has revealed plans to relocate families in the east and southeast of the island who were negatively impacted by floods and landslides last weekend. In giving an update on Friday on the recovery process in the aftermath of last week's floods, Skerritt said the government is looking at safe locations and the residences have already indicated their willingness to move. Prime Minister Skerritt said, and quote, "We have started discussions in the government and I have shared this with the residents who I met during my visits to Saint-Soufrière and Petit-Soufrière that we have to look at relocating. We have done this before and we can do it again," end quote. Skerritt said he hopes the move will not take the residents too far away from the communities they once called home. The Prime Minister stated that the weather events, like the trough that recently affected the country, will be a new reality for Dominica and Caribbean states due to climate change. Last Sunday's incident, which negatively impacted the communities of Castle Bruce, Petit-Soufrière, Saint-Soufrière, La Plaine, Delices, claimed the life of Henson Duran when a landslide covered his home. It's a bit of sad news at the end, but condolences to the family, and we really have to. Climate change has to be at the forefront of everything. Yeah.
Definitely so. All right, moving on to the international scene, this from Political. Lawyer Natasha Pirc-Missar, who won a one-off vote on Sunday to become Slovenia's first female president, according to preliminary results. With nearly all of the votes counted, Pirc-Missar led Slovenia's conservative former right-wing foreign minister Anzelo Gar by 54% to 46%, according to media reports. A prominent lawyer, Pirc-Missar had represented former U.S. First Lady Melania Trump in copyright and other cases in her native Slovenia. Her victory boosts the country's liberal bloc following the centre-left coalition's victory in Slovenia's parliamentary election in April. Pirc-Missar said as her election team celebrated, the Associated Press reported, quote, "My first task will be to open a dialogue among all Slovenians," end quote. Lagarde conceded defeat, saying he hopes Pirc-Missar will carry out all the promises that she made during the campaign. Pirc-Missar, 54, will be the first woman to serve as president since Slovenia became independent amid the breakup of Yugoslavia in 1991.
Congratulations to her.
Well, this must be really exciting for her. She looks like she's anticipating, great things. So.
Yeah, former lawyer of the former First Lady. Big things.
Well, there you have it for the latest for today. We will be back in a flash with more Good Morning SKN. Stay tuned.
These teen boys nowadays get me so upset. I see these teen girls with their big bellies and you want to tell me y'all couldn't protect her and yourself? Come on. Now don't tell me no stupidness about you feel embarrassed about getting a pack of condoms or asking somebody for one. That ain't nothing to be ashamed about. You should be proud that you are making a wise decision, but you still have to abstain from having sex with someone under the age of consent. If your boys are pressuring you to have sex and you don't want to, then don't. You are in charge of your life, not them. I heard another one saying it's sweeter without a condom. But my granny always told me, no glove, no love. So let me tell you something. It's sweeter to have money in your pockets and not have to support a child at that young age. Before I say anything else, the best way to prevent teenage pregnancy is to abstain. In other words, no do it. Let me talk to the big men troubling underage girls.
Why you sleeping with your daughter? You not live clean. Your girl at 16 and your daughter at 13. So girl I look me, but me know you know that. Big man no deal with back pamba.
You understand where I'm coming from, right?
This message was brought to you by Project Viola through the Department of Gender Affairs with support from the Basic Needs Trust Fund and the Caribbean Development Bank.
I eat some veggies for dinner. Let me just check the amount of sodium in this can. Oh no, this is too much. Let me try our next option. They did say it's healthy to consume less salt. This is much better. I am salt smart.
Did you know that there are certain seasonings that contain more salt than you actually need? There are more natural, healthier ways to reduce the salt intake in your dishes by using natural things like onions, garlic, seasoned peppers, and even thyme and merengue powder.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom. No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
Dreamy Decor specializes in flowers for all events, from birthdays to weddings and any other special occasion. What's a better way to express to the people you love than by providing the finest selection of beautiful flowers and gifts? So when you think of flowers, think of us, Dreamy Decor.
You see that new boy that just joined the school last week? He brought me a chocolate this morning because I showed him the way home from school yesterday.
You like him?
No, he's just my friend. Plus he is my neighbor. He asked me if we can walk home together for lunch tomorrow, and I told him yes.
I don't like these big boys. They tend to like to touch girls without your consent.
What do you mean by consent?
It's when one person agrees to give permission to another person to do something.
He is cute though. Guys, you won't believe what happened the other day with the new boy from school.
What happened?
The other day, while walking home with the new guy, he followed me into my house. I thought it was okay because he seemed friendly and respectful. So I turned on the TV and offered him a soda. We sat in the chair together. Then he leaned over and kissed me. I was so shocked I sat up straight and asked him why he did that. He said he thought I liked him. I told him not in that way.
What? Girl, you should have never allowed him inside your parents' home.
My parents will be very angry if they meet any boys in our home plus kissing me.
Guys, we don't need to be burdened down with teen pregnancy and relationship problems at this time. Boys need to understand that girls are not sex objects.
Remember, you have the right to consent to every activity being performed, from holding hands to anything more, and to change your mind at any time. If your partner does not respect your wishes, this also is a form of abuse. If you, your friend or family member is being abused, you can contact one of the numbers listed below for help. Department of Gender Affairs 662-5492, Special Victims Unit 662-7077, Counseling Unit 465-5000. This message was brought to you by the Department of Gender Affairs in collaboration with the Ministry of Health and the Pan American Health Organization.
Children, how can you tell a tsunami coming?
Teacher me.
Sammy?
My mother said when uncle jump in the pool and the water spoosh out, that's how you tell a tsunami coming.
Settle down, children, settle down. Do you remember our tsunami song?
Yes!
Mommy, uncle not here in the other shake.
Hush your mouth.
Daddy, uncle not here and the sea gone.
Who cares? You don't see all them free fish? Quick, give me the bag.
This is how you tell a tsunami I come. Teacher says so. I would have failed in school, you know.
Sammy, come, let me go. They would have failed anyhow. Let me run, see Sammy.
Yo, what up? It's your boy and Richie right here at Studio 327. I'm here to give you the promo that you guys need because this is something special for St. Kitts. I'm telling you, tune in to Good Morning SKN, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on YouTube, Facebook, and on Moment Channel 4. Also, I realize nobody else is doing this. Follow the Good Morning SKN Instagram at Good Morning SKN and the Studio 327 Inc. Instagram. Follow us on YouTube and Facebook. This is pretty long, but follow us and yeah.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. World Diabetes Day is an important healthcare event marked on the 14th of November every year to highlight the shooting prevalence of diabetes as it impacts and educate people about the preventative tips of diabetes. This year, 2022, World Diabetes Day theme is Education to Protect Tomorrow under the combined theme of World Diabetes Day 2021, the 2023 campaign, Access to Diabetes Care. This year, 2022 theme is focused on intensive diabetes education for the healthcare professionals and people living with diabetes, which would enable better accessibility to quality educational platforms, educating and encouraging for early diagnosis and adhering better lifestyle and prevention tips to prevent the escalating prevalence of diabetes worldwide. This morning, we warmly welcome Dr. Dwayne Archibald and Christine Watley to speak about this topic. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's our pleasure to welcome you to Good Morning SKN.
Good morning. Nice to be here.
So we'll shoot right off. Nurse, as I affectionately know you, can you tell us the function of the Diabetes Association here at St. Kitts?
The function of diabetes, the St. Kitts Diabetes Association is to educate, to inform, to guide, and to, must I say, reassure persons about diabetes, because it's not the killer, because you can live with diabetes.
Is it challenging, though, to do that? Is there, like, are people misinformed about diabetes? Do you find that when you have to educate them, there are some misconceptions that they have that you have to correct?
They have the misconceptions, so you can't get to educate them. But we have been trying, and we have been making some inroads. And the problem with diabetes is denial. You still have persons denying that they have diabetes. They'll say, the doctor say, so here you have blame. Okay? But that is really a hindrance, but we are getting there. Because the St. Kitts Diabetes Association, our main reason for existing, and I hope no one is seeing me but me, is to create a better understanding of for all the persons in the Federation about diabetes, and letting you know that you can live with it. And you can prevent it to some point.
I'm type 1. On days, I don't think I have diabetes, and on other days, I have diabetes. I don't understand the thing.
Okay, we can prevent it, because he can't catch it from you.
No.
But if he eats right, and he exercises, and so eating and exercising, there are some of the things that would really prevent you. Eating right, and when I say eat right, you can eat from the 6 food groups moderately.
Okay.
Okay? And so you would not get it if you eat right, and if you exercise, and you take concern about you being, I want to be healthy. I don't want to have diabetes because I don't want to get kidney failure, and I don't want to get blind, and I don't want my limbs to go, because if one go, chances are the second one is going to go. My one leg gone, the other one gone. Next thing would be my hand.
You're scaring me, by the way, I have to tell you. You said that. You just rattled those things off. And I imagine that's part of an effective campaign to tell us what the eventual impacts could be. Doctor, in relation to those things that the nurse just described, do you often see patients who are concerned about these things because they have diabetes?
Okay, good morning again. As Nurse Watley rightly said, the first challenge that we tend to meet is denial. We, the medical physicians, yes, deal with diabetes, but all we can do is tell the patient, hey, you need to take this, hey, you need to take that. Especially with type 1 diabetes, the psychological component of it, we need to add the psychologist to allow persons to accept what diabetes.
So, yeah. Nurse, why do you look at me like that?
I'm a parent, so I'm looking to see. I'm looking to see if I'm causing, and it's because sometimes of the blame that I really can't get out of this thing. I can't get out of being an advocate for persons living with diabetes. I can't, because everybody else gets the blame but me. So but because I know that my parents have diabetes, I am going to put up my hands and I'm going to say, hey, I got to do better.
But I've tried, and funny enough to see that it's still caught up in me, because the average person will say, but Hortensia, you do eat healthy. But then I still end up with this thing that it's hereditary.
I particularly feel it for type 1, which requires insulin.
Yes,
All the time.
yes,
And
yes.
I hear every day, Doc, I'm allergic to needles. I'm allergic to needles. That's what people tell me all the time.
I'm not afraid of
But
needles,
you
thank
need the
God.
needles to take the insulin. And I've seen kids suffer psychologically because they refuse to take the needles. So I have to stress on the psychological part of it.
And it's not the needle, it's the fear.
Of the needle,
Yeah.
Because I'm mortally afraid of needles, but by the time it gets in, I don't know it's gone.
I'm surprised.
No. You cannot be mortally afraid of needles.
In your line of work,
I
I'm
know.
Mortally afraid of injection. You take me to the doctor and I'm going to get... and then it's right there, you know, and I need to feel it.
Okay.
Wow. Well, obviously, we're talking about a lot of things, so confession is good for the soul, I understand, nurse. As we continue.
So it's not the blame, really. She got back on me because
okay.
Human.
Okay.
Fair enough, indeed. What are some of the ways, nurse, that individuals can partner with the Diabetes Association?
Partnering with the association, you have to have the need to be a part of it. You have to have the will to want to get in with it, because it has no money. You have to have the passion to come along, because it could be thankless. You have to have the calling. Otherwise, you're not going to want to stick around, you know? But trust me, the more persons that we get who see the need, right? The more persons that we get to see the need and volunteer to come and help, we know that as an association, we're going to be doing better. We're going to be able to educate. We're going to be able to inform. We're going to be able to, so we educate, we inform, and we become partners in getting rid of this thing. Yes, you can get rid of it.
Type 2, not type 1. I heard type 1 is...
So the question I ask myself, you might have it, but if you adhere to the information and the advice that you get, you'll be living like you're free from diabetes.
Okay, so you're living with it.
You're living with it, but you're controlled.
Okay, got that. That's the least you can do.
Yep.
So, Dr. Archibald, how does your patient react, especially when you tell them that they're diabetes? And for those that are about to lose a limb, how do that affect them?
Wow.
And you as well?
Okay. In terms of how they react when they first discover that they have diabetes, of course they're in denial because it's lifestyle changing. You have to change how you eat. You have to change when you eat. You have to exercise. Most of my patients, I tell them, hey, you don't have to subscribe to a gym and work out 4 hours a day. It's just a simple 2 hours, 3 hours walk a week. Get some exercise in. Just make sure the body is moving. The sedentary lifestyle speaks to favor diabetes. So we need exercise. That's 1. 2, meal prep. Prep your meals from, let's say, Sunday. I know most of us don't have the time, but attempt to do it.
Yes, discipline.
Yeah, most of it, I need discipline. Meal prep. Prep your meals for the rest of the week. Say, I'll have this for lunch, I'll have this for dinner, I'll have this for breakfast. In terms of the dangerous foods, stay away from chocolate, stay away from ice cream, stay away from the usual cultural kittish and baked plate of rice for Sunday lunch. I mean, we were just up there speaking about the Sunday lunch and how poisonous it is.
Can't believe something that's so good on Sunday, so unhealthy for us.
I mean, we used to look forward to it.
Sure.
When I was in Jamaica, I used to love the rice and peas.
Ooh, la, la.
The coconut rice and peas. I love that. Imagine how much calories in one Jamaican patty. So you have to be careful. Nice. You have to be careful what you eat. So again, stress on the exercise, stress on the diet. Now, once that does not control the diabetes, then you go to the medication. You're taking the pills. Most people adhere to taking the pills, but when it comes to taking the insulin,
ain't nobody want to board themselves.
They're against that. They're totally against that. But diabetes have the complication of making you blind, affects the kidney, leg amputation. Many people don't want it to reach there, but once you educate, and as Nurse Watley said, and I salute the Diabetic Association, education. Once you put in the education and the persons have the knowledge, what can be and how they can prevent it, it's done. But you have to keep stressing it, because I would see one patient, for example, in emergency room. Today they have the sugar. The sugar is high. You treat them, we speak to them. They're back next week. So you just have to keep on it. It's a frustrating job, but you just have to keep on it, because it's our everyday life. We don't want to live in a bubble. We don't want to seclude ourselves from all the fancy and the fancy stuff out there that we're supposed to be enjoying, that everybody else is.
Yeah.
So basically, it's just education. It boils down to education.
And you notice what IBF theme is saying. Education for tomorrow.
Yes.
You educate now, you're saving a life, you're preserving lives, you're preserving person's livelihood, you are helping them to live ordinary lives, productive ordinary lives. You know, the kind of thing, they'll be able to work for themselves, and they would be able to pay their bills. They don't have to wait on handouts from government and those kind of things. They can become independent even with diabetes. Diabetes, if you know that you have diabetes and you get education and you're informed, and you know, you can live a natural, normal life in spite of diabetes.
But I keep hearing that word education. And as you referred to the theme, you spoke of tomorrow. Have there been opportunities for you to speak to the younger generation, to go into schools and speak to them, or would you relish those opportunities if you've not had them?
So the St. Kitts Diabetes Association, we recognize that if we could not catch the older ones, the elderly, you know, we're gonna protect the youth. And so we started a school screening program. We have tested children in every primary school and every high school except those two private schools. We weren't able to get into them. And we have picked up some little borderlines and some children with high blood sugars, and we recognize why. The earliest person to get to school is the tray.
Are you kidding me?
So when the children reach the school, the tray is there at the school.
Already.
Who can tell the child not to buy the corn curd? So what I did when I was in one of the country centers, I told the children, when I go to the school, I speak to the children at the school, everybody, and I said, look, you do not go outside there to buy any corn curd mixed with condensed milk. But nurse, it tastes good. I said, okay, do not go to eat it, to buy it. It's not good for you. But we can drink water. I said, okay, I will deal with it. So I gathered the vendors, because that school had 2 vendors. And I niced them up, as I was born to be a nurse. Niced them up. And I said, I'm going to want to speak to you folks. You know, I said, I know that you doing a business, but I spoke about the children and how they should eat healthy. I say you don't want to see your children or grandchildren not able to go to school because they get sick. You know, when not sick with what? Sugar? I didn't tell them that. So I said, so if I'm going to tell the people not to sell the popcorn or the corn cold with the condensed milk, I have to have an alternative.
Yeah.
So I said, so what if you get some ripe bananas? You don't have to peel it. Cut the ripe banana, and you get some oranges, and you slice orange. I said, you know how much dollars you can make out of 10 oranges and some bananas with 2 grapes? You know? God knows what me that is true. And I realized that it worked, you know, sure. I realized that it worked. There's some communities that take change gradually, some don't take changes at all, you know. But I'm not saying they did it the next day, but they started adhering to it, you know. And so we have to educate, inform them, let them know that it works, and go with the right attitude with them. You know, we have some real nice young doctors like Dr. Archibald, you know. He knows just how to deal with it, you know.
Well, apparently you do too. There's a certain sense of niceness, if I had to quote you to say that.
So the St. Kitts Diabetes Association, so what we have done is to go into all the schools, we did screening, and those that we realized were borderline, and some of them were just because of what they eat. And so we share our data with the Ministry of Health, and so that's starting a dialogue there.
Wonderful.
And then changes take place. The school is aware, the Ministry of Health realized, well, the load is going there, we're meeting this particular goal now, so, you know.
And it's because of your work, and I wish we had more time to talk with you about it, but I recognize how important it is, and thank you so much for sharing that bit of information. I know that Hortensia and I both appreciate it, as do our viewers, so thank you. Nurse Watley and Dr. Archibald.
Thank you.
More Good Morning SKN in a moment. Stay tuned, everyone.
It's been 6 months now and Glenn hasn't been working. His attitude has completely changed and he's been leaving the house every day for hours and liming with his friends and coming home drunk and causing confusion.
Gloria, this is what you cook today? This is not enough food for a big man like me.
But Glenn, it's been 6 months now. You haven't given me any money to shop for food.
Okay, so what you want me to do if my boss ain't called me out for work as yet?
Look for a different job now.
What you just said to me?
Get a next job.
What?
Help! Let me go!
Let go what? Yeah, let's see what real happening. Let go what? Watch your mouth with me now.
The weekend mom and dad fight. When are they going to stop?
Domestic violence is not just physical, it's mental, emotional, economical, and psychological. If you, your friend or family member is being abused, you can contact one of the numbers listed below for help. Department of Gender Affairs 662-5492, Special Victims Unit 662-7077, Counseling Unit 465-5000. This message was brought to you by the Department of Gender Affairs in collaboration with the Ministry of Health and the Pan American Health Organization.
You ever hear Earthquake call and say, "Hello, Miss Lee, yes, it's me, Earthquake, I come in Tuesday around 10? No, sir. Earthquake does arrive unannounced, and when it come, it shake all sense and sensibility out of we. Remain calm, stay inside, and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Once the shaking starts, you know it's earthquake. Make a quick move to a safe place. Don't run to the doorway or any exit. Stairs might block up or full of people. Elevator, avoid that because you might get in and poof, power gone, and you're stuck in that box without air. Take cover under a strong table or a bed or crouch against an inside wall or in a corner and cover your face and your head with your arms. Remember, DCH, drop, cover, hold on. Glass windows and doors, outside walls and doors in an earthquake, bad news. Take care yourself. Most injuries during earthquakes happen when something drop and hit people entering or exiting a building. Last thing, nobody run outside and ask, you feel it, you feel it? Remain calm, stay indoors until all the shaking stop and do the DCH, drop, cover, hold on.
Dreamy Decor specializes in flowers for all events, from birthdays to weddings and any other special occasion. What's a better way to express to the people you love than by providing the finest selection of beautiful flowers and gifts? So when you think of flowers, think of us, Dreamy Decor.
When growing your savings, where you save matters more than you think. Dare to compare and see for yourself why you should start saving and investing at First Federal Credit Union. You don't have to settle for cents. Let your money make sense. Reap a higher return by stashing your cash in a high-yield savings account or term deposit and earn up to 4% interest on your money. At First Federal, we say yes.
Greetings, my lovely people. I'm Chantel, residing in Taiwan. 12 hours time difference. It's nighttime here, morning time in SK. I'm busy and on the go. However, I always manage to keep up to date with what's happening in SK. All thanks to Good Morning SKN. Good morning SKN. Ciao, bango!
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. Our next guest of the day is connecting with us from Texas. She is LaToya Maynard, and she joins us to share details on her journey to becoming an emergency physician. I have to say, this is a very pleasant surprise because I was not expecting you, LaToya, but this is great. Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. How are you doing today? Alrighty, so we're going to talk about your medical practice, but even before we get into that, you were born in Nevis, raised in St. Kitts. Tell us about your upbringing and how that impacted your love for medicine.
Why did you choose medicine, LaToya?
Wow. I'm just having these images. I should have asked your mom if she had pictures of you playing dress up with, the medical costume or anything like that. Were you one of those children that walked around with pretend stethoscope, etc.? All right, so LaToya, I do have to interrupt you. I apologize. We're having some technical difficulties, so we'll go to commercial, but we'll be back. Hopefully it gets sorted out by then. More GMS Scan in a flash, everyone. Stay tuned.
When growing your savings, where you save matters more than you think. Dare to compare and see for yourself why you should start saving and investing at First Federal Credit Union. You don't have to settle for cents. Let your money make sense. Reap a higher return by stashing your cash in a high-yield savings account or term deposit and earn up to 4% interest on your money. At First Federal, we say yes.
welcome back to Good Morning SKN. We apologize for that break in transmission. We understand that you were not able to hear any of that, so we'll begin the interview afresh. Our next guest of the day is connecting with us from Texas. She is Dr. Latoya Maynard, and she joins us to share details on her journey to becoming an emergency physician. Welcome back to Good Morning SKN.
Indeed, welcome.
Always a pleasure to see you.
Happy to be back. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Well, it's always great to talk with you. And, well, now we're getting into your medical practice. Before we get into that, though, we're going to talk about where you were born. You were born in Nevis, raised in St. Kitts. And I was asking you to tell us about how your upbringing impacted your love for medicine.
Well, being from the Caribbean, and especially St. Kitts, those who do well in school are pushed towards certain professions. So law being one of them, medicine is another one, teaching, finance and banking. And out of those, I really took a liking towards science and medicine. So that sort of became the path for me.
I also noticed that you had the opportunity to begin university at 15 years old. What was that experience like?
It actually wasn't too bad because once I got to MIT, we were kind of sheltered. The campus was pretty much protected and separated from the rest of the city. And the faculty did a really good job of sheltering us and protecting us. So, it wasn't really like I was out in the real world at 15. I was just studying and living on campus. So it wasn't too bad, and it wasn't a big adjustment for me.
I love the way you say that, though. You weren't out in the real world at 15. Come on, really? I mean, this is a great accomplishment. Honestly, I know that you've made your mom really proud. So what made you decide on emergency medicine?
I think it was pretty much lifestyle. I kind of wanted to keep my personal life and professional life separate. And it's kind of hard to do that when you're doing specialties that require you to be on call. For example, orthopedic surgery, general medicine, pediatrics, et cetera. You're going to be on call once every 5 days, once every 7 days. So with emergency medicine, you go in, you do your 12 hours shift, sometimes 24 hours, because I actually work 24-hour shifts now. And once I'm off the clock, I'm off the clock. So it's easy for me to keep my personal and business life separate that way. So that's why I chose emergency medicine.
You mentioned 24 hours. So you can work from 7 today until 7 tomorrow?
Yeah, I work from 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. the next morning.
Is there sleep anywhere in between there?
It depends on where you work. If you work at a low-level facility where you're not seeing that many patients in 24 hours, you can sleep a good amount. If you're working at a busier place, you cannot. Some places are way too busy that you cannot do 24 hours because you will absolutely not get enough sleep. And then when you're not sleeping enough, then of course medical mistakes can be made. So it depends on the type of facility that you're working. But now that we're dealing with the flu season and it's getting busier, it's getting much more difficult to get a little bit of rest. I might be able to get 30 minutes, maybe twice in a shift. So it's become tough now that the cold and flu season is here.
Well, I have to say, you've gone to many different places. You've worked in many different places. One of the most interesting ones for me would be Abu Dhabi.
Yes.
All right, tell us about that.
So I did residency in Los Angeles, and I worked there for approximately 7 years after residency. California and especially LA is extremely expensive. And I kind of wanted to find a place where it wouldn't be as expensive for me to, sustain my lifestyle. And I wanted to live in a place that was a little bit more conservative. And, Abu Dhabi became an option. So I was able to work with a recruiting agency and work at the military hospital in Abu Dhabi.
What were some of the takeaways from that experience?
It's definitely a cultural shock, but it's also important to note that your experience is determined by where you decide to live and the persons that you decide to surround yourself with. So if you are living completely as an expat and you're surrounding yourself with other expats, your experience is going to be completely different from someone who decides to live amongst the locals. And we decided to live amongst the locals. So we were in a very, very diverse community. We were actually the only quote unquote Westerners there. So the only, I guess at that time they considered me American, but the only Americans living in that compound of perhaps 7 or 8 families. One of our neighbors were from Pakistan. Another one was a local Emirati to Abu Dhabi, and some other Middle Eastern countries. So we were the only Westerners there, and we kind of got a more intimate glimpse of the life in the Middle East.
What about the food?
The food is always great whenever you travel, because it's such a cosmopolitan country where so many people have moved in, so many people have migrated to that country. You get a diverse experience in terms of food, culture. So the food was great. We got to experience multiple different types of dishes.
I'm just curious to know if that's something that you would do again. Would you ever consider going back there, even for a short stint?
To vacation, yes. To live again, no.
All right, that's a short answer.
The culture is just completely different there. And as an American woman, it's much more conservative than you would expect it to be.
I think we've heard, definitely so.
Yeah.
Do you have any other specialties outside of ER medicine, though, doctor?
No, emergency medicine is my only specialty. So that's what I trained in after medical school. I did 3 years of residency specifically in emergency medicine. Approximately 50 years ago, up until 50 years ago, emergency rooms were being manned by, for example, general medicine doctors, family medicine doctors, maybe even some surgeons, until emergency medicine became a specialty on its own. So once emergency medicine became a specialty in the 1970s, they trended towards using emergency medicine board and certified physicians in the emergency room.
And as we continue to speak on the emergency room, would you be able to elaborate on a typical day or week in the emergency room for yourself?
Okay, so a 24-hour shift. Start at about 6 o'clock. It really depends on how people are feeling, what time they decide to show up in the emergency room. But when I first ended residency and I started working in Los Angeles, I was working in downtown Los Angeles, and I was working at a very busy general emergency room that's connected to an actual hospital. So that's the typical emergency room where you would see gunshot wounds, you would see heart attacks, MIs, persons coming in that had already been coding, so we would have to resuscitate them, persons in alcohol intoxication, drug intoxication, like the gamut of everything that's truly emergency. So that was my experience, of course, during residency, but also perhaps maybe 7 to 10 years after residency. And then initially, when I moved to Texas, I found out that there was a completely different way of practicing emergency medicine in terms of the setting. So in some states, hospitals and emergency rooms, they're 100% connected. In other states like Texas, maybe even Louisiana, you can have an emergency room that's not connected to a hospital. So it's called a standalone emergency room. It has full emergency room capabilities. So you can do x-rays, you can do CT scans, ultrasound if you need it, would need to be called in. Some emergency rooms that are standalone do have 24/7 ultrasound. But anything that you would typically need to get done in an emergency room, you can get it done. If a patient would then need to be admitted to the hospital, then if you're in a standalone emergency room, you would require them to be transported via ambulance to one of the facilities that you're connected with. So in those types of settings, you don't get to see the serious emergencies because the serious emergencies would need to go to a hospital-based emergency room. Of course, you still would need to be prepared and ready in the case if an emergency were to come in. For example, I think my ER had a gunshot wound to the neck just a couple of days ago. But that's not usually typical because if an ambulance were to be called, they would take them to a hospital-based emergency room because at a standalone ER, the only people that are really working would be myself as an emergency physician, maybe one nurse, one tech. There's no respiratory therapist there to assist if the patient needs to be intubated or bagged, meaning a tube down the throat and breathing for them. We would have an x-ray tech. But that's about it. So if someone comes in with a gunshot wound to the abdomen, I can't call surgery downstairs and say, come and help me. If someone has a tonsillar abscess or something like that, and I need an ear, nose, and throat doctor to come down and assist me, there's no one there to help. So if someone were to call 911 and they had a true emergency that would need backup specialties, then they know to take them directly to a hospital-based emergency room. So I would get the simpler things like chest pain, which could end up being an acute MI. And in that case, it would transfer them to the hospital. Again, a lot of colds, flus, a lot of belly pains that may or may not be surgical. So we do get some serious things, but the emergent things that would need specialization help, we don't typically get. So it's a little bit easier.
Oh, nice, nice.
I can hear that from listening to you, yeah. All right, so we'll be back in a moment to continue this discussion. Dr. Maynard, don't go anywhere, everyone. Stay with us.
Yeah.
An exotic experience.
morning. This is Kayana Paris and Zippo from Paris, Vermont. I want to encourage y'all to sign on to Good Morning SKN every morning from 8 to 10 at Studio 327. Thanks.
To Good Morning SKN as we continue this engaging conversation with Dr. Latoya Maynard. Dr. Maynard, what advice would you give to persons who would love to pursue a career in emergency medicine?
Well, I guess I would say that emergency medicine is great for, the free living type of personalities, the ones who don't really want to be tied down to anything in specific. So emergency medicine, we kind of like, we're the jack of all trades, master of none, where we know a little bit about everything. So if you are interested in, you kind of have to be willing to do some pediatrics, be willing to do some medicines, a little bit of surgery, procedures, etc. So of course, if you're interested in biology, chemistry, then it's a great option for you. First, you would have to do the prerequisites for college. But you can major in whatever you'd like to major in. So if you're interested in, arts, or if you're interested in something that's not related to medicine, you can still major in whatever you're interested, as long as you do those core subjects that are required for medical school. And then, of course, once you are done with college, or even before that, you would have to take the MCAT, which is a little bit tough. But it's definitely worth a try, and definitely something that you can conquer if you're really interested in it. And of course, there are multiple options, as you know, that there are medical schools all around the world. So whether you decide to go to medical school locally in St. Kitts Nevis, or regionally in the Caribbean, anything is an option for you. There are great schools wherever you go. And then once you're done with medical school, then you'll have to try to get residency in emergency medicine. And once you match, it's pretty much smooth sailing from there.
Nice.
All right, so we've been talking about work for, I guess, the last 10 minutes or so. We're going to steer the conversation differently now. We want to know what it is that you like to do outside of working, because it's evident that you work really hard. So what do you do when you're not working?
Well, most of my time is consumed with my kids and their activities. Both of them play football. I have a 12-year-old son who is an amazing, amazing goalkeeper. I mean, he's 12 and he's 5'6". He's taller than me already by 6 inches, still growing. And he's been a goalie for about 2 years already. And then my daughter, who's 10, she's also a football player. She's really good. But she plays more on the field. So with their schedules, I'm pretty much busy on the soccer field pretty much every single day, Monday through Friday, and then one game on the weekend. So outside of that, not much more to do.
So you're one of those soccer moms. You do clubs. Clark, what was going on here? Is it true? Is that imagery true?
It is. Some of them can get really hardcore, which unfortunately is disappointing because it's kids on the field. So we are supposed to be supportive of all the children on the field. Doesn't matter whether they're your team or the opposing team. And you're supposed to be uplifting and encouraging, but some of these parents are so serious about the sport, and they forget sometimes that it's kids who are learning and need to develop. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, we have all of our soccer equipment in the back of the car, so the image is correct, but there's still a varying degree of how serious you can be as a quote-unquote soccer mom.
I got you.
So, Latoya, you're a soccer mom. Do you see the soccer kids following in your footsteps at any point? Or they have already decided what their destinies will be?
They don't know what they want to do as yet, but I think my son can go really far as a goalkeeper. My daughter, unfortunately, because there's huge pay discrepancies in sports. Of course, now there's a huge pay gap, and there's been a lot of push towards paying female professional athletes the same as male professional athletes, but I don't think we're quite there as yet. So I'm not quite sure if I completely support my daughter's interests past, college level, but definitely my son can.
Okay, good stuff.
That's a whole other discussion for another day. I can see it, though, years down the line, if your son continues on this path, he'd be the one advocating for equal pay. That's interesting.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so do you see yourself returning to work and say, this has got to be way in the future, Latoya, like retirement here. Like if you were to change course and say, you know what, you want to come back to St. Kitts to work as a physician or just live. Have you thought about that at all?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've been slowing down a lot over the past few years. So as mentioned, I went from a really crazy emergency medicine setting with hospitals that are really busy, and then I've slowed down somewhat over the past 8 years or so. Of course, kids would need to be out of the house, college, and then maybe at that point I'll be able to slow down a little bit more and work in St. Kitts if possible. So that's a possibility depending on, where I am in my lifetime, but I have definitely considered it.
All right, good to know.
And good to know.
Definitely looking forward to seeing you in the flesh if you book those tickets and you return in
Gotta come by.
So we are crossing our fingers. Always a pleasure catching up with you. Thank you so much for spending some time with us here on GMSKN.
Thank you so much for having me.
Come again sometime, and as we say, we're looking forward to seeing you in person. Thank you so much for taking the time out to speak with us today.
It was wonderful talking to you guys.
GMSKN Nation, stay tuned. Much more after this.
Hi. If you are a smoker, please pay attention to this message. According to the World Health Organization, there are 1.3 billion smokers in the world today, and tobacco kills 1 out of every 2 smokers. Did you know that there is enough nicotine in 5 cigarettes to kill an average adult if ingested whole? There are more than 7,000 chemicals in tobacco smoke, of which more than 250 are known to be harmful. More than 69 are known to cause cancer, and 16 are classified as Group 1 carcinogens. Smoking kills. Are you ignoring that warning every time you smoke? Please stop. Smoking can lead to severe health complications and even death. It affects almost every organ in the body, especially the lungs and heart. It raises blood pressure, increases blood clots, and increases the risk of stroke, heart attack, and cancer. It is hard to quit smoking, but it is not impossible. Don't let tobacco destroy you. Remember the 4 Ds to curb your tobacco cravings. 1. Delay. Set a time limit before you decide to smoke. 2. Drink water. Go get a drink before you do anything else. 3. Do something else. Have a goodie bag handy of other things to do. And 4. Deep breathing. Take at least 10 deep breaths every time you think about smoking. Quit smoking and live a longer and happier life. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health, St. Kitts and Nevis.
Good morning. This is Carol from Lux Carnival, and I listen to Good Morning SKN.
On Friday, we had an engaging conversation with Gender Officer Dion Brown about the Department of Gender Empowerment's week of activities in celebration of International Men's Day. Today, we welcome another member of the department, Mr. Hanif Charles, to zoom in on one of the events. Yes, the Bossa Pot Cook-Off. How authentic was that?
I love it. Awesome. That's exactly what we wanted to sound. Bossa Pot.
Good morning again, Hanif, and welcome back to Good Morning SKN.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be back.
Okay, so the Bossa Pot, tell us about it.
Yes, so the Bossa Pot competition, the Bossa Pot Cook-Off, is an initiative being held as part of the activities for International Men's Day. And the Bossa Pot Cook-Off is for males. We're focusing on males, obviously, International Men's Day. Mr. Morris, I didn't see you in the competition, but next year we'll have you.
There's a whole show on International Men's Day. That's fine. Fair enough, Hannah.
Yes, but the objective of the Bossa Pot Cook-Off is really, of course, to highlight the culinary skills of men, but also to eradicate certain gender stereotypes when it comes to the traditional roles of men, especially in the household.
Yes.
We often subscribe to the notion that the women are the natural caretakers and the nurturers. So they are the ones who are doing more or less the soft skills and the soft labor work, and the men are the ones outside doing, all of the breadwinning. But in this case, we want to highlight the fact that men can also do their thing in the kitchen, and in this case, they can bust a pot. And they're really good at it, right? So we want to showcase their skills in this competition. We also want to change the perspectives, of course, on the role of men. This is one of the outcomes of the competition, that we want to show to men and boys out there that this is something that you can actually do, and it's perfectly fine.
It's interesting that you say that, especially that last part, because you were reminding me back when we were in high school and or even when you were in high school, when we had home economics as an option, the numbers in those classes, predominantly women.
More women than male,
than boys. And now you're kind of flipping it on the head, at least striking to balance it, which is what Dion said when he was here before. Is this the first time this competition is being held?
Yes, this is the actual first edition for the competition, and we do hope that it will continue on into the years. Actually, for this year, the theme is Coal Pot. It's a Coal Pot edition this year. So you can come on out and expect to see the men cooking, utilizing the coal pot. Bringing back that traditional backyard grandmother kind of theme to it.
That's interesting, and a lot of smoke too.
Not only smoke, so your pot
but the smoke will mean that the food will taste awesome.
Good, of course. Oh man, this Bossa. So why was it? Well, I know you just said you're, as we said, bridging the gap between gender roles, and the guys know that they can cook too. But what other importance is this cook-off in relation for the men and boys?
Well, as it relates to the gender stereotypes, of course, like I said, we want to establish the fact that, this is not something you ascribe to just the females. Men also need to participate in cooking. It is a life skill for everyone to have. You imagine your home, and that's one of the reasons why I actually started cooking. Imagine your home and you're hungry. Is it that you want to wait until your wife comes home, or your mother comes home, or you just want to be able to get up and say, hey, I need to bust a pot? Right? It's a life skill that you should have. And in this competition, we also want to highlight healthy eating through eating local produce, buying and eating local produce as well.
Nice.
That's definitely an important thing. As you were talking, I remembered, there are some single fathers out there who don't have the luxury of having a grown woman in the house. Therefore, so they're already doing this. And so it's good to shed light on that as well. Culinary skills, impact on the participants. Are we assuming that the people who are participating in this competition already have culinary skills?
No, actually, not at all. And that's one of the things that we want to highlight, because typically when you find that men are participating in the culinary field, it's almost for income. Of course, leading back to that whole topic of men being breadwinners. What we are trying to say is that, no, you don't have to be the breadwinner. You don't have to do this as a career. This is just something that you may want to do or just to sustain you. So we're looking exactly at the home chefs. So these men are coming into the competitions, they cook well in the home, and we want to kind of amp up their culinary expertise.
So you see that's the qualifier. You have to cook well in the home.
So that means for the next one, you cannot have that as a criteria because my good friend over here, he doesn't really ascribe to the kitchen.
What is she doing, Hannah? I don't know what you're doing.
What are you trying to say?
That's exactly what I'm asking because it's subjective, isn't it?
Right? But no, you can have your culinary experience. We are not limiting you to that, but of course we are trying to promote persons, home chefs.
Okay,
of course, if you're a chef, that's fine. But at the end of the day, our objective is to demonstrate to persons that we are dismantling the whole issue of gender stereotypes. At the end of the day, that's the objective.
One of the things that I like about what you just said as well is that you're advertising, advocating for the use of local produce.
Yes.
That's very important. Ties in with so many things that we've been hearing about food security.
And actually, the main ingredient, this is a very, very interesting one. It is the yard fowl. Yes.
You're busting a pot to
so
the
just
yard
imagine, bust a pot on coal pot, and your main ingredient has to be a yard fowl.
All right, we need to talk because where I live, there are a couple of them flying loose right now. So
Jeremy's volunteering his phone.
He needs to collect yard fowl.
Are you volunteering to add to our inventory?
I'm asking for people to come and take them up from behind my yard.
You're volunteering the birds to their inventory.
Anybody in the bird walk, just drive up, okay? You will see them. They're there. Collect.
Wow. The yard
Pluck
fowl.
them off the street.
So that means a pressure cooker is involved in this?
Whatever the chefs, we leave it entirely up to the chefs. They have their coal pot, and they can also use their regular stove top. They use whatever appliances, whatever utensils they need, as long as they produce 2 dishes. One will be a main dish and one an accompanying dish.
Are they cooking alone or do they have sous chefs?
They have sous chefs. So what happened is that we have 4 participants and they're representing their respective communities and assisting them will be their sous chef.
Oh, nice. So, sorry, Jamie, the sous chef have to be boys too?
Yes, it's a male competition where we are promoting males.
Okay, nice.
So we have 4 teams of 2 males each.
And the communities that you mentioned, what are they? If you're
okay, so let me just highlight who our participants are. We have Racine Libert of Molyneux, Kevin Saunders of Atlas, Romaine Stewart of Cayon, and Imran Francis of Bastia.
Was this event publicized prior to now?
No, because this is the first edition. What we had our community ambassadors who are members of the committee who would have sought these persons out. Next year, because we're now putting out the competition, we want to entice persons to participate, and next year we hope to have greater participation.
So registration is officially closed.
Yes. So we're starting out with the 4 that we sought through our community ambassadors, and then next year we're going to open it up now that persons are more aware of the competition.
All right, so when is the competition and where is the competition?
So the competition is on November 27th. It starts at 2 p.m. and it will be held at the Advanced Vocational Education Center.
Oh, okay. Nice.
We are happy for their partnership because we will be using part of their hospitality center and the main event will be held on the school grounds.
Nice.
And who are the judges?
Oh, so we're going to have some, I'm not going to say who they are, it's going to be a surprise when you come, you see. But we're going to have some chefs, persons from the community as well. So these are professionals who will be judging our home chefs.
They'll be judging yard fowl.
Yes. Don't knock it. It's a very interesting ingredient. And because it's a very difficult ingredient, it's really interesting to see what the chefs will do with it. Yeah, because, typically...
All you have to do is pressure that boy?
And that's exactly because our chefs have about 90 minutes to prepare their 2 dishes. So it'll be interesting to see how they're going to work around that, what recipes they'll create to work around that and present it in the 2 dishes.
So are we coming with a defeathered yard fowl?
Yes.
Okay.
You're not gonna come and see them pluck the chicken on site.
Okay.
Listen, all I'm saying is that you can't get more homegrown than a yard fowl.
Yes, absolutely.
He was going in the yard, indeed. Yes, they are everywhere. Listen, I'm accustomed to eating them, so I know how they go. But I've not eaten them since I've moved here.
But like I said, it's very interesting to see because I know typically persons will see the yard fowl being used in like a stew or soup. But it'll be interesting to see what they'll use with their culinary creativity and put it together who's going to come with their little sweet and sour yard fowl, or maybe they'll call it something fancy.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Yes.
Can you tell us anything about the criteria that you're going to be using?
Right, absolutely. So the judges on the day will be looking for presentations. So the contestants will have to give an oral presentation of their dish.
Nice.
Sense appeal, so we're looking at how it looks, how it's plated, the taste, of course, the smell, the texture, and we are also looking at the authenticity. So what we are saying is that if you create your own recipe as opposed to taking something off of Google, that's what we're looking at. And together that will give you a maximum total of 100 points.
So what is the prize?
All right, so we have partnered with a few business spaces, and we would have gotten almost about $5,000 in prizes, cash and prizes. The winner will walk away with $1,000 and some very attractive prizes. And the second runner-up, or the first runner-up, will walk away with $500 along with prizes as well.
Okay.
And of course, our second and third runner-ups will walk away with prizes.
Nice.
Are there any trophies among them?
Yes, of course. Our Bussa Pot winner will be titled.
I can't wait to see that trophy.
The Bussa Pot champion.
Okay.
And because this initiative is a partnership between the Department of Gender Affairs and the Ministry of Health's In Your Kitchen initiative, we'll also be featuring that person in the In Your Kitchen calendar, as well as the In Your Kitchen cookbook.
Nice.
And they have an opportunity to participate in the In Your Kitchen competition next year.
Yes.
Oh, that's good. So it's almost like an automatic placement.
Yes, yes.
I know. I have my idea about how that trophy should look or whatever it is. Are we going to have any cock-a-doodle-doos on that?
I was thinking maybe we could have the bird trying to get out.
This year, because it's a cold pot, we might do a cold pot, but we'll work our creative juices around it.
Yeah. Interesting. I can see the woodworkers catching away. So this is a very engaging competition.
It was indeed.
Let's talk about the impact again, not necessarily for the participants now, but for the boys, because also this year the theme focuses on men and boys.
Yeah.
So what do you hope the boys will take away from this experience?
Again, because we want to dismantle the whole gender stereotype, we hope that the young boys who are watching, they're saying, okay, I'm accustomed to seeing my mom and my grandmother cook, but seeing my father or seeing my uncle, see someone in the community I'm familiar with doing something and, basically telling me that, hey, it's okay to actually do this sort of activity. It's not a girly event or girly activity or a woman's thing. It's something that all of us have to do, because at the end of the day, you're going to be hungry, you need to eat to survive, you have to know how to
boss up pot.
And help control the yard fowl population while you're at it. That works too. Adam, Charles, always a pleasure talking with you.
Indeed.
Thank you very much.
So much. Good luck with the competition. I'm sure you'll be back to talk about it.
Definitely.
Hopefully with some of the winners.
Yes,
All
absolutely.
Right. That's commitment.
Yes.
You know, I believe, and if it's a judge,
No. I'll just be tasting.
And judging, but not publishing.
Yes. Not publishing my scores.
Got it. All right, always a pleasure. More Good Morning SKN in a moment, everyone. Stay tuned.
I need some veggies for dinner. Let me just check the amount of sodium in this can. Oh no, this is too much. Let me try our next option. They did say it's healthy to consume less salt. This is much better. I am salt smart.
Salt is an important part of the human diet, but most of us consume more than we realize.
it.
An exotic experience.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
Have you ever done something nice for someone else just because? Not to repay them, but simply to brighten up their day? Then acts like that are classified as random acts of kindness. Has anyone ever been nice to you and lifted your spirit for the entire day by performing some random act of kindness? Well, as we loosen up today, we're going to be sharing some ways you can demonstrate kindness to someone you know, or even to a complete stranger. And I like that. That's actually the best one. And why is that important? Because kindness makes the world a happier place for everyone. So here we go with the acts. Letting someone go in front of you in a line.
I do that ever so often, especially if they just have one item to pay for. Go ahead. Although the person behind me like, you serious, miss? How do we want to go there, you know?
Oh, really? Okay, that's nice for them. I think I've been the recipient of this act of kindness more than I've actually allowed people to do it, because I'm not in the grocery line a lot. Yeah, that's just me. But
there's one item.
Right, so here's where we go. Here's where we go with that. Yeah, but definitely, I was there the other day at a popular supermarket, and the girl in front of me had like maybe this whole basket full of like everything. It was overflowing, and she saw me with 2 or 3 things, and she's like, "You want to go? You can go." I was like, "Wow, that's so nice." Thank you. And I thanked her again at the end of it, because again, I feel that way. It's so great to say thank you, because I'm one of those people who wants to honk my horn when I let somebody go, like when we're in traffic, and they just like forget you. Although it's a random act of kindness, I wish I could take it back. I'm confessing.
You can't take it back. You just have to let them go. As I normally say, sometimes we don't know where a person's minds are. We don't know what they're focusing on. Maybe they're grateful that you let them out, but they just forget to say thank you, and they can't beat their backlights.
No, it happens way too many times. I'm sorry, no.
For real?
They're not.
So then maybe you have the juge that is not good. Although you're doing that good act of kindness, they're not seeing it as good. I don't know.
No, trust me, they're not. But hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, well, at least you would have done your good deed, so yeah. The universe will.
That's what we say.
Exactly. The universe will reward you. Oh, have I had to do that? I think I would have done that once, but not paid for their, buy the meal for them and give it to them, not pay for it at a restaurant. I've never encountered that one.
It's pretty much the same thing, right? If you think about it, you go, you pick up something for somebody. Yeah, they can work in tandem, right? So yeah, good mom can do the same thing here. And that's a good act.
Yeah.
Holding the door open for someone. I do that a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Whether I'm here or not, it's just something
chivalrous
to do.
Yeah.
And if you're trained, I'm going to put this out there, if you're trained in any way, shape, or form, sometimes it's good. Whether it's an older person, whether it's not. Now, if it's a young guy that I see coming through, there's no way I'm going to hold that door, especially with the pants down. No.
So what if the man's pants fall down? Maybe you were holding it to help him.
He can't hold the door, he needs to pick up
exactly. So maybe he could have gotten up his pants quick whilst you hold the door.
You want to know what a random act of kindness should be on this list? Although it's not here, it's just going to be on mine. Buying belts for these young lads.
But they have the belt.
I'm aging myself.
But do you realize they have the belt, but the belt is holding on right here?
I can say some of them don't wear belts. Let's be honest here. They feel like it's good for you to advertise what brand of underwear they're wearing. My mom said the other day when we were in traffic, why do I have to look at your underwear?
I know.
Which is fair. It's actually a valid point.
It is.
Back to the point at hand here. Hold the door. Yeah, not for the young ones.
Have you saw the?
You need to do other
There's
things.
one brand of underwear that some of them need to not show.
I was actually trying to move away from
the old holies. The old holies, like that brand needs to just not be shown. Yeah.
No, I haven't seen that. Fortunately, better you than me.
Offer to pick up some groceries for your elderly neighbor. I've done this a lot, not only for my elderly neighbor. I live with the elderly, so I enjoy doing stuff like that. So.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's me. Because one day I'm going to get old, and I would like for the young ones, the middle-aged ones, and the other age ones to take care of me. So yeah, I do this.
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. I always think about aging when it comes to treating the elderly properly, because I'm not going to stay this age forever, so I'm not going to rag an elderly person ever.
I got you.
Yeah.
All right. Helping an older person across the street. Yeah, that's a good one, especially if you see that person with a cane or et cetera. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's something that we do. Yeah.
What if you have some angry grandparents like, leave me, yes, yeah,
well, then you leave her and then you walk because you don't want to be accused
you
of
get a cane.
Leave her alone. That's
yeah, but it's always good to help your elders. You're not going to be young forever, and you will need, one day, you never know, you will need someone to help you. So be kind to your elders, regardless of the back chats they give you. Just be kind to them.
I actually want to help younger people across the street, especially when I'm driving by the circus. It's like, you shouldn't cross there. You realize pedestrian traffic is just as bad as vehicular traffic. It's literally like bumper to bumper. And some of them think that they have bumpers so they can, yeah.
I always say in my head, because I'm not going to wind up my window to be rude to anyone, I know you don't see cars in hospital. And if you realize when a car comes out from the mechanic shop, you can't believe that car was in any fender bender. Now you see us, we are walking in all kind of angles because we can no longer walk straight because we collided with a car.
See,
we have to respect the cars.
Yeah. Yep.
Let me tell you, you see how we nonchalant in St. Kitts in terms of crossing? Try that in Antigua. I learned the hard way. I almost wasn't this person today.
Well, you didn't really
I
learn
never
the hard
did it
way.
again.
You could have learned the hard way.
Oh, but Jamie, I learned the hard way without the hard.
Okay, gotcha.
Because nope. So unless the road is clear in Antigua, I never crossed again, even on the pedestrian crossing, thinking I own the road.
Well, if you want to take advice or follow other people or things, the animals know how to use a crosswalk. You should too. Just putting it out there.
Yes, I know. Oh, I always tip. And my tip is, when I leave my tip, that person should be able to buy a food. I'm not showing off on anybody, but I'm just saying, you have to tip people. And I mean, you can't give somebody like $2. $2 can hardly buy a candy.
Tipping is not part of our culture here. I agree with you. At the same time, if your waiter was not good at service, your tip might actually be oral and not monetary. It's like you need to
that one I can work with, yeah. But I always leave. Most of my waiters are nice. I've hardly had. And when they are nice, I let them know too. I don't just leave a tip. I'll be like, keep up the good work. You're doing so well. Like, your service is on par. Yeah.
Okay, great.
So they get verbal and monetary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do your siblings' chores without them asking. I live alone. It's all right. That's not going to be happening. No. Do any rinse chores without them asking? Yeah, I guess.
We used to, but not really, no, because my mom divided the house, so everybody knew what they had to do. But
smart mom.
Me and my siblings, we get along very well. So if they need help, even until today, they need help and they call up and ask, I help them out.
But it says without their asking. Right.
Yeah, even sometimes I go by their house and I see dishes in their sink and I just wash it up for them and then I leave. I don't have to do that, but it's just in my nature to do it. So yeah, I do still help them out.
Alrighty, so guys, here, we're going to pretend to be Hortensia's siblings in the studio. If there's anything that you need her to do before the show is over today, or at the end of the show, just let them know, okay? Just leave it there.
Yeah.
We're going to test you on this one. All right, pay for someone else's bus fare. Yeah,
I would say I've done that already.
Especially if I want them to go out with me.
That way, no. I thought you mean somebody in the bus and then they don't have enough money.
No, well, if they don't,
make it up.
You could do that.
Yeah.
Definitely, you could do that. Yeah, I mean, you add on to it or you pay the whole thing.
Yeah, cool enough.
But you know what? You've got to be so careful now because it depends on who it is. They might think that you are trying to do something that you're not and be accused of doing other things. So if they can't afford it, it's one thing. But yeah.
So I don't get that in the sense. What are you trying to say? Don't pay their bus fare because they might look for you. They might try to hop the same bus with you every time.
No, not that at all. No. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying, okay, it's weird. Like, I would prefer to give the bus and have the person not know and he say that's already taken care of, as opposed to let the person know that I'm doing it. Because in some respects, okay, let's say for instance it's a child and the mother happens to be there, or she doesn't have enough money or whatever. And there are some people who take offense to that. What are you doing? They start to literally curse you out and think that you have ulterior motives or you're insincere or something. So in a case like that, you could probably do it in private.
Yes.
And then have the person who's going to collect the fare just say, it's already taken care of, don't worry about it.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. I get that point. All the time, every time. Yeah.
Offer to give a friend a ride home.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, that works.
I've done that a lot.
That works. Do you charge the fare that the taxi will charge at the end of it?
No. Says I'm offering to give a ride home.
Oh, okay.
So no charge.
Offer and acceptance.
You want me to bust out in the Shirley Caesar song for the ride that I gave my friend home? No charge.
Oh, okay. There you go. I hope you won't be charged with that. Yeah, well, that's even there.
Oh,
right, here we go.
I'm calling my lawyer.
Call
your lawyer.
All right. So the random act of kindness again. Buy groceries for the person behind you in the supermarket. This is like deja vu. For some reason, I think that we had this conversation already.
Yeah, but I've not. But that was somebody allowing us to pay. But I've not had the opportunity to, as yet.
Happened to my mom the other day.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Great doctor who shall remain unnamed. Happened to my mom and another person. He literally wanted to cut into the line. And he cut into the line and he's like, "What are you buying?" Yeah, the machines weren't working or whatever. And he's like, "Oh, so you got okay. Pay for that. I'll pay for yours too." Because he cut into two ladies.
Nice.
Apparently the guy on the other end of the line was like, "Great. Yeah, you cut in front of two ladies. Okay, good job. You're paying. Awesome." It's just great. Yeah. So,
nice.
Stevie Wonder?
I just call.
Really?
Just say, I do that all the time.
Okay.
But both my friends would say that, oh my gosh, me and my dad, we have love arguments. Yeah. A lot of doctors can tell you, when they see the two of us, they'd be like, oh gosh, it's her and her dad. Because we always fight in the doctor's office.
Wow.
Because I'd be like, I tell him to do that, and he didn't do this and that. But yeah.
Does he do the same with you though?
What? Do you mean fight back with me?
Yeah, if he's with you at your doctor's appointment.
No, he don't come to my doctor's appointment.
You see, you're smart.
I'm the child. No, because I have to take care of my dad now, because he's of that age. So when I did take him to the doctors, every doctor we go to, once they see us, they just start laughing, because they know what the visit is going to be like. Yeah.
And you know why I'm asking this? You don't know why I'm asking this?
No.
We had a conversation this morning with a doctor and a nurse, and we talked about denial. So I wanted to know if your dad paid you back because you were like, hey,
no, because
I told you not to do this or not to do that.
No, but I have to tell my dad not to do this and not to do that. My dad is an amputee, not me. I'm not going to be an amputee like my dad. No. So I'm going to be careful. So yeah, but I'm actually going to call him today. I was calling him yesterday, but I didn't. So I'm just going to call him today.
Yeah, I pop up in person.
Oh, look at you. So sweet.
Nah, not
he
really.
Just pop up to say Whiskermas is going to get you.
Not really. This is random acts of kindness.
Yeah, we really hope that you practice all of them, or you start practicing those that you don't practice. Oh.
Yeah. See you in a few.
Stay tuned.
Where are you going? I just mopped the floor, and now the chair leaving marks all over the place. Come on, go in bed, see? Sometimes I just can't take you on.
Violence is expressed in many ways. Most, unfortunately, go unreported or unaddressed for many reasons. If you or someone disabled is being abused, contact the police at 465-2241, social services at 467-1314, or the St. Kitts Nevis Association of Disabled Persons at 465-2151, 663-9077, or 663-4116. This message was brought to you by the Department of Gender Affairs in collaboration with the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO.
I going out tonight. I got a hot date. He older than me, but I don't care. I like what he telling me. He say I look sweet and ting. What? You want me go home with him? Nice. Boy, I wonder if I'm ready for this. I notice he ain't got a condom, but I gonna go ahead, see? He might think me ain't like him or trust him. Plus, this my first time. Nothing gonna happen to me. Lord, how could I let this happen? I ain't ready for no child. Who gonna support me and my child? My man gone jail and mommy and daddy said they ain't gonna help. I all on my own. How could I be so careless? I wish I could go back to that now. But my education on hold. How could I let this happen? Don't let this happen to you. Contact the Department of Gender Affairs to find out about confidential offices and personnel available to answer questions about your sexuality or pre- or postnatal concerns.
This message was brought to you by Project Viola through the Department of Gender Affairs with support from the Basic Needs Trust Fund and the Caribbean Development Bank.
Dreamy Decor specializes in flowers for all events, from birthdays to weddings and any other special occasion. What's a better way to express to the people you love than by providing the finest selection of beautiful flowers and gifts? So when you think of flowers, think of us, Dreamy Decor.
When growing your savings, where you save matters more than you think. Dare to compare and see for yourself why you should start saving and investing at First Federal Credit Union. You don't have to settle for cents. Let your money make sense. Reap a higher return by stashing your cash in a high-yield savings account or term deposit and earn up to 4% interest on your money. At First Federal, we say yes.
Diamonds are girls' best friends, or so we've heard. Perhaps some men love diamonds as much as girls do. But how much do we really know about the diamond industry? Today, Joy Mead, Public Relations and Marketing Managers from Diamond International, joins GMSKN to educate us on the diamond industry and how one can pick out the best diamond for their budget. So good morning, Joy. Welcome to Good Morning SKN.
Good morning. Thank you for inviting me. I'm so excited to be here.
Our pleasure. So can you tell us about the story of Diamond International?
Okay, so Diamonds International has been in the industry over 30 years. It started in 1986. It's actually a family-based company. The founders of this company are Albert, Maurice, and Donna God, two brothers, one sister. They started in a small store in St. Thomas first, and then they developed and evolved in this amazing family company, including all of our employees, our staff, including myself, into 125 locations all over the Caribbean, including Central America, Mexico, Alaska, and nowadays, also with the cruise ships.
Oh, yes, that I know for sure.
Are there brands that are uniquely associated with the company, Joy?
Yes, actually, we have our baby, we call it. That is our crown of light. It's a design unique, created by our founder, Albert God. This was back then in 2007, and it was patented. This brand is uniquely from Diamonds International. It's a 90-facet diamond that actually I can show you right now. I was actually going to bring it later, but so this is our beautiful creation. It's a 90-facet diamond. It has 32 more facets. So facets in a diamond, as you can see, is the cuts. They're polished in a symmetry as perfection. So the facets are like doors, windows in a house.
Yes.
So the more facets it has, the more it reflects the light.
Yes.
Am I able to hold it?
Yes, of course.
I just want to hold it.
Is this an actual diamond?
I wish.
Oh.
No, this is just a crystal an example.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my sister ring, oh my God, when that hits light, that thing
you can see my
exudes.
studs as well. They're diamonds kind of light.
Oh, I can see that.
This is unique from
Brilliant.
Diamonds International. And what is so important about us as well is that we're part of the beers. So we're site holders as well of the mine. We have this privilege that we can handpick diamonds, and we have that privilege and honor of being hand select these diamonds to make and design our jewelry. So another thing that I have to add is that Diamonds International is a vertically integrated company. So from site holders to sourcing, to manufacturing, to designing, to retails. All this is, to be honest, there's no middleman in between. So that helps to level down the cost a lot. So that is one of our brands, Crown of Light. And another brand that we have that is also very special to us is created by Maurice Gatt, that is a brother of Albert. It would be based in Tanzanite. Safi Kalima is the name of the brand. So this is coming from Tanzania, Africa. And it's based actually in the mountain of Kilimanjaro in Tanzania, Africa. We're site holders as well of that mine of Tanzanite. And we have the privilege as well to get the best quality AAA of Tanzanite.
Nice. So tell us about the famous C's.
Okay, so the famous C's comes to be like what is the basic of a diamond. First of all, it's 4 C's. So one would be the cut. The cut, what I was explaining to you, is the facets.
Yes.
How you polish, how you cut a diamond. Depending on that would be the brilliance, the fire, the sparkle on that diamond. So yes, that would be the most important C, by the way. Then it would be color. The color, it has to do in terms of the tint of yellowness that diamonds have sometimes, you know. This depends on the creation underground, the heat that it retains, and it depending on the region that they were taken from. Some of the diamonds that you will see as well, that we call fancy color diamonds, because that exists as well, is red diamonds, pink diamonds, blue diamonds. So basically that's the color. Now, clarity. That would be the third C. We're talking about purity in a diamond. So you know, when a diamond is created underneath, it's because of a carbon that was created by the pressure of heat. So sometimes these diamonds, when they're taken from the mine, they take like minerals or pieces of carbon, and sometimes it looks like feathers on the diamond. So that's the clarity. And the last one, but not least, and actually sometimes they think that's the most important, the carat weight. It would be the size of a diamond. Yeah, so that would be the 4 C's.
The carat matters. You have a big bling on your hand. Ooh, you're the it.
They say that size doesn't matter.
In the diamond, it does. Do you see how many times those celebrities clean their eyes
Oh, yeah.
Like, they're like, oh.
Yeah, you've seen it. Yeah.
You have to see my engagement ring. Like, this hand just does everything. And it's like this big rock that's falling off their hands.
It's like this Shaquille O'Neal, when he proposed, he said actually, this is real.
Yeah.
He said in a report that he wanted everybody to know that she was getting married to him.
Exactly, so the size mattered.
The size
mattered.
Yeah.
And Mr. Trump's last daughter just got married, and she had a 13 carat. That's a huge piece of ice.
Yeah.
Yeah, the size matters.
Okay. It all depends on the taste.
We're talking about.
I will explain you later why I think that.
Okay.
Why don't you do it now, actually?
Okay, so this is one actually of the misconceptions of diamonds.
Okay, good stuff.
Okay, so to be honest, size in the diamond industry doesn't matter, as you said, because the quality of, first of all, it depends on the taste of each individual. Each client is different. Okay, so our main focus is that our customers, Diamonds International has this, that our priority is to satisfy our customers. And that's why we have been all over the place, and we have over 125 locations. We have had more than 5 million people, satisfied customers, attending to our stores and feeling happy with our assistance, customer service. Because we explain to them that you have to tell us what you want. So let's say, in terms of quality of a diamond, I would go for color and clarity, not carat weight. And actually, the cut is the most important. So if the cut is not like ideal or excellent, then you're not getting the best of the best.
So
some people compromise the color. Some people go for, I will explain you as well, the colors and everything. But it all depends on the taste. Some people go for the size, because they like to have a big rock, but the color clarity is pure, maybe. I don't know. But that's why I was.
Okay. Understood.
Yeah. Is there social responsibility within the Diamonds International company?
Oh, yeah. And this is why we're so privileged, and actually all of our family colleagues, we're so happy to be part of this company, because from the factory that we have on the mines in Namibia, Africa, and here to St. Kitts, because I'm part of St. Kitts, we give back to the community. And that's our main purposes in life, to give back. Now, if you're not grateful for what you have, so we're very grateful to be in St. Kitts, and we have done social responsibilities. For example, in St. Kitts, I can talk that we have been doing beach cleaning. We are part of, we have been going to Cardin Home, that it's in St. Jefferson's Village.
St. Johnston.
St. Johnston, sorry. Sorry.
That's okay.
And we also did, there was actually, we were in, before COVID, we had the opportunity, and I just arrived to the island when that happened. We rebuilt some houses in Sandy Point.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was a very tough thing to do, but it was very grateful, like gratifying. That's the sensation of seeing these people with these beautiful new houses rebuilt by us with our bare hands from scratch, and we call it the Blue Hood, by the way. You pass by Sandy Point, passing by the National Bank, opposite corner.
Okay.
That's the Blue Hood.
Okay, the Blue Hood.
And that was by Diamonds International.
Okay, nice.
Yes.
You were talking of, what is your favorite setting of diamond?
Sometimes I'm very flashy, but in terms of rings, I would say that my favorite setting would be the channel setting. The channel setting, it has to do like a line of just a set of round diamonds.
Okay.
And you set the diamond that you like, because my center focus would be the center stone, not because of the size.
That's what we've heard.
Clarity.
Joel, we want to thank you for stopping by and sharing all with us about Diamonds International. And again, really impressed by what you do, but more so your social responsibility as well. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining us for another edition of Good Morning SKN. We're inviting you to watch us daily. Of course, you already know how to do that on our social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. We're going to invite you as well to, as Cortensi would say,
like, like us, subscribe. Leave us a comment and let us know what was your favorite part of today's show. And we're out of time, yes, unfortunately, but come back tomorrow at 8 a.m. when you'll start your Tuesday, yes. Choose tomorrow to wake up and be grateful. At 8 a.m. Come back and join us right here on Good Morning SKN. Thank you for watching and see you tomorrow.